Am I the a-hole for leaving my children's step-siblings in the care of their babysitter when my ex and his wife were in an accident? I, 32 female, have 2 children, 11 and 10, with my ex-husband, 34 male. We divorced 7 years ago and have not been able to remain on good terms. He remarried 3.5 years ago, and the bad blood between us grew worse at that point. New wife was never happy about my presence at school functions for the kids, and she'd always make a point of sitting between me and my ex, complaining that the kids would hug me first. But that wasn't the worst of it. At one of those school functions, she accused me of pinching her daughter. Luckily, others saw what happened and knew I hadn't, but this woman went ballistic, accusing me. Why? Because I stopped her 4-year-old, at the time, from falling over. After that, I made sure I sat on the other side of any room from them, and I swore I would have nothing to do with this woman's children. She has 2. The lucky thing for me is my kids aren't close to them and don't ever ask to invite them over or include them in birthday parties that I throw for them. This makes it easier to keep my distance, so no more accusations come my way. And this woman still brings up the pinching accusation and how she should have called the cops and had me thrown in jail. A few weeks ago, my ex and his wife were in a car crash. It was his custody week. We split the kids 50-50. His babysitter called me after they didn't come back home and told me she had no idea what to do, and I was one of the emergency contact numbers given. I tried calling him and he didn't answer. Then I got a call from his mom, who told me about the accident and the fact that they would be in the hospital for a while. I told her the babysitter had called me and they might want to send someone for the younger kids. After that, I went and picked up my kids. The babysitter wanted me to take or stay with all 4. My kids wanted to come home and didn't want their step-siblings there. I told the babysitter the other kids weren't mine and gave her my ex's mom's number so she could call, since my ex gave her mine and a number that wasn't working as the emergency contacts. The kids and I stopped by the hospital the next morning, and my ex was pissed that I left his stepkids with the babysitter and didn't do more for them. I refused to engage with him on that in front of our kids, but his anger intensified when, from the sounds of it, nobody in his or her family would take care of them. He wanted me to do it, but I said no and told him I was nothing to his stepkids, nor would I ever be anything to them, and I was not risking his accusation-happy wife trying to destroy me with her lies. My ex is still pissed at me and has called me every name under the sun since the accident. His wife was hurt more seriously than him, and she's not even close to fully recovered, while he mostly is. I think that's fueling this more, but his anger toward me has led me to document all interactions we have now because he's so volatile with me. He told me I should be ashamed for taking our issues out on his stepkids. I feel like I did the right thing because those kids are not my concern, even under the circumstances. My concern is more about any accusations she could throw my way and how that could affect me being a mom to my kids. But I can see where that might seem heartless, given the situation at the time. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You're right to be cautious, because that woman could falsely accuse you of something, and you could end up in jail. Your ex can be mad all he wants. She very easily could. The way I look at it is if she's willing to try something in a room full of people, what would she try to do if I was alone with her children? Not the a-hole. Don't take liability for the children of someone you don't trust. That's an accusation waiting to happen. And those kids are not at all related to you. In what world would they be your responsibility? Your ex doesn't have a leg to stand on. In his eyes, they are our kids' siblings, despite the kids not even feeling that way or seeing them that way. But even still, it's his responsibility as the one who chose to be their stepdad to make sure he gives accurate info for emergency contacts. I think the main issue for me is, in a 2 families, not a single person helped out? That says a lot about how people feel about the ex and his wife. Yep, ex-hubby should be asking himself why nobody stepped up from his family and friends, or his wife's. He won't, of course. Next story. Am I the a-hole for walking out after she said I scare her? My now ex-girlfriend and I were at her apartment when she said she wanted to talk. I asked if she wanted advice or if she just wanted me to listen. I didn't mean to sound cold, but I guess my tone came off that way. Honestly, she vented a lot, and it was getting tiring. She always said she could handle things on her own, but almost every night she called to talk about work or family problems. I tried to be supportive, but sometimes I just didn't have the energy to react how she wanted. That night, she said my blank face and calm voice scared her. She said I'd been like that for weeks, quiet, distant, like I was holding something in. Then she told me she was worried I might do something. Her ex-boyfriend had anger issues, and she said my calmness reminded her of him. That really shocked me. I've never yelled at her or threatened her, not once. So I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and left. She tried to call me as I was walking to my car, but I didn't answer. Instead, I sent her a text. If you're scared of me, then you shouldn't be with me. I'm not joking about that. It's better if we go our separate ways. She texted later saying she was sorry and didn't mean it that way, but I didn't reply. If someone says they're afraid of me, even by mistake, I don't want to be around them. That kind of fear can get out of hand fast. I've read enough stories about false accusations to know how bad they can get. Even if it never reaches court, it can still ruin someone's life. So, I'm done. I loved her, but I can't stay with someone who looks at me like I might hurt them. I'd rather move on and never see her again than live with that kind of fear hanging over me. Not the a-hole. You literally did what you were supposed to do. Your partner said she felt unsafe with you, so you removed yourself from the situation. Sounds like she needs therapy to resolve whatever baggage she's carrying with her from her previous relationship. Good on you for walking away, instead of playing into whatever game, issue, or problem she was wanting to create. This post is just dripping with contempt for a woman who said she felt scared. Her boyfriend looks like a blank slate when she talks. This is a woman who has also dealt with previous abuse, and so also said she was scared he might do something, because he seems to have no reaction to what she says. Is OP angry with her? Is he upset? Is he actually okay? Is he tired? Is he sick? OP at no point made any attempt to follow up with her comment, to clarify, to speak to the woman he supposedly loved, on the phone, over text, in public. Nothing. After he left, he is right to stay away, and it'll be better for both of them since he seems to honestly dislike her. But OP, you're the a-hole. Good luck to them both. Why would he follow up with someone who says they're scared of them? Wouldn't that just be more scary? I have been scared by people before who I still talk to. Moments of anger and saying someone is scared shouldn't be a walk out the door. Walk out their life, never speak another word to them again, and immediately end a relationship with someone you were in love with. I am just getting slammed with down votes, but I'm pretty sure it's reactionary, as I don't really see anyone else commenting why I'm wrong. I digress. My verdict is still you're still the a-hole, though everyone sucks here could work too, I suppose. People just see communication differently. What are you gonna do? That sounds abusive that you kept trying to communicate with people scared of you. Gross. As a survivor of a narcissistic partner who also said I scared her, you did exactly the right thing. My ex played the victim right up to the end, and there was nothing I could do to help her. She had past trauma which made me sympathetic, but she was largely unaccountable for her own actions and needed professional counseling. I stayed far too long in that relationship and feel I barely survived getting out. To everyone saying that the OP should have stuck around, listened better, and offered more help to his girlfriend, you must understand that some people cannot be helped through love and affection alone. If they are unwilling to recognize past trauma, unwilling to heal, and unwilling to understand their own contributions to feeling scared, anxious, depressed, etc., there is nothing a loving partner can do. Also, and this should be obvious, but someone saying that their partner scares them without any reason for that concern is nothing more than manipulation. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not getting back together with my wife? My spouse, 34 female, and I, 40 male, are divorcing. A year ago, we started having issues that resulted in us fighting and or not communicating. Resentment built up from both of us to the point that we were unhappy. We both kept mentioning a separation until, after one fight, she said she was done with the fights and that we should divorce. The next day, she left on a business trip for a week, and when she returned, things were a lot better. We didn't argue. We got along like we used to in the beginning. This went on for about a month, so I suggested we talk about our relationship and where to go from there. Towards the end of our amicable discussion, I asked if we should stay together, and she said, "I don't know, and I think that the fact that I don't know means we should go ahead with a divorce." It hurt because I really wanted to save our marriage. We were together for 13 years and have 3 kids together, the youngest being 3.5 years old. I asked if she was sure, and she told me that she still loved me but wasn't in love with me anymore and hadn't been for a while. I asked how long she had felt that way, and she said it was a few months before we found out she was pregnant with our last child. I had no idea that she was feeling that way for almost 4 years and felt terrible that I hadn't noticed she was struggling. Up until the last year, there were no obvious clues. We went on dates. We were intimate 3 to 4 times a week. We did everything together. I could see the weight lift off her shoulders once she told me that she wanted the divorce, so I knew it was true that she was no longer in love with me, and I respected that. I told her she needed to make sure that's what she really wanted, because once I became emotionally detached, I'd be done. She said she was 100% sure, and that she would get all the paperwork handled since she's better organized than I am. True. It's been 6 months and no paperwork has been filed yet. Cut to the present. A few days ago, when we met up to exchange the kids, she mentioned that she sees we both are doing better mentally and emotionally, and that she wants me to consider working things out again. I told her she made it very clear she was the one who wanted the divorce in the first place, and that she was so much happier after she said it out loud. I've already emotionally detached from our relationship, so my answer is no. She said it was unfair that I wouldn't even consider it for a second before answering and left angry. A couple of friends say I should think about it for the sake of the kids, but some friends say that she emotionally detached from me for 4 years without telling me. Am I the a-hole for not giving the relationship another chance without at least thinking on it overnight? Not the a-hole. Guess her business trip fling didn't work out in the end. That's my guess. Or the coworker or the boss. Yes, whether it's her boss or coworker, we can know that she isn't serious enough about relationships. Hope OP won't turn back. The friend that mentioned she detached for 4 years is spot on. That's 4 years of no communication. Also, staying for the sake of the kids usually results in toxic and unhappy households anyways. But you also gave her 6 months to handle the paperwork. Time to put on your big boy pants and do it yourself. I would get a paternity test on your 3-year-old if I was you. She could have cheated. Nah, that's my child. She's literally the spitting image of my sister when she was a baby. A lot of people say that, but she might have a type. The affair partner could look very similar to you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for intentionally scaring my neighbor's kids? My 29 female bedroom window faces the front yard. During the day, I have the blinds half open, enough to let in some light and sunshine for my cats. From the street and even the front yard, it's not possible to see clearly into my bedroom. Because of this, I often walk through my bedroom in my underwear or partly dressed to get to the bathroom. I don't risk walking around naked though. Recently, my neighbor's twin kids, both male and I'm guessing around 7 years old, have started looking in my bedroom window. I don't just mean standing by the window in my yard. I'm talking faces and hands completely pressed up against the glass, looking in. I assume this started with them looking at my cats, but now I think they consider it some type of game with me. If they see me, they run back home laughing. I've caught them outside on several occasions and asked them directly not to do this, but they just run away laughing like it's a game. I've also spoken to their parents multiple times, and they refuse to do anything about it. The response I got was, they're just kids being kids, and if you don't want someone looking in your window, just keep it closed. I think teaching your kids that it's okay to go onto someone's property and peek in their window is messed up. I know they're young, but I still feel like my privacy is being invaded. This went on almost daily for months, until last week. I walked into my bedroom and heard the kids outside playing, then spotted the terrifying demon-like mask my boyfriend wore to a Halloween party the night before. So I got an idea. I stood next to my window wearing the mask for almost 20 minutes. Finally, I heard the footsteps approaching and waited until both kids had their noses pressed up against the window. At that moment, I jumped out, mask right at their eye level, and let out the deepest and loudest roar I possibly could. In all the years living next to these neighbors, I've never heard them scream as loudly as they did when they saw me. They ran home screaming and crying, and just minutes later, their mother was at my door calling me a monster for scaring her children. I simply told her that I do what I want in my own house, and if her kids don't want to see that, they should stay away from my window. It's been a week now, and I'm glad to say the kids haven't even stepped foot on my front lawn. Not sure if it's because they're traumatized or because the parents finally told them not to do it anymore. Either way, I'm happy. I felt justified at the time, but everyone I've told has said that I took it too far for such young children. So I don't know, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. They're lucky they didn't get a call from the police instead of just getting scared by a mask. The mother, though, is the a-hole. She should be teaching her kids better and not to look into random neighbors' bedroom windows. The nerve. Keep your windows closed? The absolute gall. What would be her excuse if her kids had caught you and your boyfriend together through those windows? You shouldn't be having sex where kids can see it? Frankly, you should have done it sooner. And anyone who disagrees clearly has never had their privacy encroached on, children or not. Also, I justify my reply as a parent myself. So no, I don't think you took it too far. Right, I have kids, and if you aren't going to parent your children, you have no right to complain when the world doesn't take the gentle parenting approach. I love it. If she keeps complaining, I would let her know that there are consequences for parents and their kids when parents let their kids trespass and be peeping toms, which would get them arrested as a teen or adult, because kids will be kids. I hate that whole "they're just being kids" BS, because I for one never even thought about spying on my neighbors, and frankly, being told by my neighbor to stop would have freaked me out enough to not ever do it again. And I lived in an apartment building, so it would have been super easy to spy on my neighbors. I just never thought to do that because that's freaking weird.